We begin in the supplements on page 1.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים שברכים גם יחד. 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 ומנעים שברכים גם יחד. Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and in thanksgiving will be a sanctuary for you. ועשו לי מקדש ושכנתי בתוכם. ועשו לי מקדש ושכנתי Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and in thanksgiving I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
This is a great song to start with tonight on this week where we change our sanctuary, where we move out of the solid, stable, sheltered sanctuaries that we are in most of the year, and we move into a fragile, temporary, leaky, wind-blowing hut. And we lose some of that sense of being protected, of being stable. We move into this much shakier sense of existence, and we have to find our sanctuary in a different kind of way. One of the ways that we do that is by coming together as our community, whether here or on YouTube. Hello to those of you who are connecting remotely as well. Being together is a different form of sanctuary. We find shelter in our connections with each other. And we come to Shabbat, which offers us a sanctuary from the rest of the week, from the busyness and worry and anxiety. It is there for us, if we take it, to be that kind of shelter from the storms of the rest of the week. Whatever the weather does, Shabbat offers us that chance to step out of the regular pattern of life and to take a day to refresh and to renew ourselves. We are, unfortunately, because of the weather, not actually in our sukkah sanctuary today. Got a little shvach out there earlier today, a little damp, and but we are going to go out at the end of the service. We'll shake the Lulav Netrog out there. We'll have Kiddush and Motzi out there at the end of the service. We'll spend some time in that sanctuary after we spend our time in this sanctuary together like this. Just a reminder for those of you who are on YouTube that in the same email that gave you the link to connect to the YouTube, there was also a link to a PDF of the prayers that we'll be saying during services tonight. So if you want those words, you can click on that link and get the PDF of those words so that you can have them. We're going to continue with the lighting of the Shabbat candles. The blessing is on page 301. Ruthie, in celebration of your upcoming birthday.
I've got 2 birthdays now. You were calendar birthday, which is closer, which is nice. The first mitzvah in the Torah is Yihior. Let there be light. So we are commanded, in everything you do, be a menorah, a bringer of light. Live with honor, act with integrity, do your work with passion, and the radiance of your deeds will live after you. May our ideals burn bright, forever unextinguished, and may we live our lives like the flames we kindle, always striving upward, striving for the good, reaching for you.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you, Ruthie. On page 304, we find a special reflection on the candles for Sukkot. Harvestful, the moon hangs in the sky like the fruits of the season suspended from the sukkah's boughs. The stars peeping through glimmer as brightly as these candles we bless. However ephemeral the moment, we rejoice in being at one with nature and you. As the sukkah sways in the wind, let us too bend and not break. Let us flow, let us grow, let us ripen in our time, that we may fulfill your plan for us, your dream of holiness come to fruition here on earth. We turn back to page 13 as we welcome the Shabbat angels of peace and joy. Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mihi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And now we are ready to welcome the Shabbat bride. Page 21, Lecha Dodi, come my beloved, to greet the bride.
kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Hishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad, U'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'lithilah, Lecha dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu b'nelcha, Ki hi mekor haberacha, Merosh mikedem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshava tchila, Lecha dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Hidorari, kiva orech, kumi ori, uri, shiraberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla, Lecha dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam b'simcha u'v'tzola, Toch emunei absegula, Boi chala, Lecha dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela, Lecha dodi likrat kala, B'nei Shabbat nekabela.
We stay standing as we turn to page 27, Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabba, Be'alma divrach yirutei, V'yamlich malchutei, B'chayechon uvyomechon, Uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, Bagala, Uvizman kariv, V'yimeru, Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabba mevarach, Le'alam u'la'om me'hamaya, Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yithalal, Shemei dekudesha
Barichu.
La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma, ve'imeru. Amen.
In the supplements on page 5, Am I Awake? Leading into Baruch Hu.
Yadidai, dai, dai, 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 Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Yadadai-dai-dai, 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 yadadai-dai-dai.
You can be seated. Back in the Sidurim, we turn to page 28. And let's continue together in English at the bottom left of page 28. Light and darkness, night and day, we marvel at the mystery of stars.
Moon and sky, sand and sea, we marvel at the mystery of sun.
Twilight, high noon, dusk and dawn, though we are mortal, we are creation's crown.
Flesh and bone, steel and stone, we dwell in fragile, temporary shelters.
Grant steadfast love, compassion, grace. Sustain us, O God. Our origin is dust.
Majesty, mercy, love endure. We are but little lower than the angels.
Resplendent skies, sunset, sunrise, the grandeur of creation lifts our lives.
Evening darkness, morning dawn. Renew our lives as you renew all time.
Our lives are renewed through the gift of Torah, a gift that God gave us in love. Page 29, Ahavat Olam, we thank God for the gift of Torah.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Havta, Amcha Havta. Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shovenu uvkumeinu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha u'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed ki hem chayenu Be'orech yameinu, uvahem nege yomam v'layla, nege yomam v'layla. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha. Ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha. V'shinatam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'shokbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha.
Page 31 and the 6th line from the top.
Leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'Elohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'hiot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim. I am Adonai, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. Where did they stay when they left Egypt? Where did they live on their way from Egypt to the wilderness? The Torah tells us they built temporary huts. One of the reasons for Sukkot, it says, is so that you may remember that I had the Israelites live in Sukkot on their way to the promised land. And so celebrating Sukkot is not just about the harvest, not just about nature. It is a reminder of our liberation, our celebration, our freedom in this new world. And so even in the midst of that fragility and that temporariness, we celebrate. So let's turn to page 372 for a reflection on these impermanent dwellings. For 40 years, our ancestors wandered in the wilderness. They were your sanctuary. You were their protection.
Tents, huts, Sukkot, rude, impermanent dwellings. The weakest of structures were the strongest of homes.
In them, you shaped our people's soul. In them, we have felt your nearness.
We built these huts anew each year to find again your presence.
Life is frail as a sukkah. We are insubstantial as a harvest hut. Exposed to the ravages of nature, we are impermanent.
Faith in God is frail as a sukkah. It is prey to all life's evil, even as the sukkah is exposed to wind and rain.
But life is also strong as a sukkah. We are enduring as a harvest hut. Often beaten down, we rise again.
And faith in you is strong as a sukkah. Amid all life's furies, it rises again and again, a fortress of hope and salvation.
On Sukkot, we thank you for all your blessings, home and hearth, food and clothing.
Above all, we thank you for the faith that sustains us. Spread over us always your sukkah of inner peace.
As we turn to page 33 for our evening prayer, that image of shelter, of protection, of a sukkah forms part of the language of this prayer that asks for God to spread over us the sukkah of peace, Sukkat Shlomecha, the sukkah of God's peace. Page 33.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'ha'amideinu Malkeinu L'chaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'ha'amideinu Malkeinu L'chaim Ufros aleinu Sukkah Shilomecha Ufros aleinu Sukkah Shlomecha Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'ha'amideinu Malkeinu L'chaim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'ha'amideinu Malkeinu L'chaim Ufros aleinu Sukkah Shilomecha Ufros aleinu Sukkah Shlomecha
Page 34 for the sanctuary of Shabbat, Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
On page 35B, we continue with the Amidah. We'll start together on page 35B and then continue individually from there. If you wish to continue with the liturgy of the Siddur, it goes through page 38, where you can find your own words, your own prayers in your own heart and soul. When you've had as much time as you'd like for your private prayers, you may be seated, but we start by rising together on page 35B.
Adonai Safatai Tiftach Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. Adonai Safatai Tiftach Ufi Agi Tehilatecha. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei Hakol, ve'Zocher Chasdei Avot, Umevi Goel Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Ufoked Umoshia Umagen. Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Abraham Ufoked Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Mitim Atah Rav Lehoshia. Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye Mitim Berachamim Rabim. Somech Noflim Berofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Meimit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'emanata lahachayot meitim. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei haMeitim. Atah kadosh u'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
In the middle of the Amidah, on page 36, there's a special insertion for the Shabbat in the middle of Sukkot. This is called Chol HaMoed, the ordinary day of the festival. It's not the actual holiday days, festival days of Sukkot, but the days in the middle. We have the same thing with Passover, the holiday days on the end and the ordinary days in the middle, called Chol HaMoed. And so on page 36, at the bottom, towards the bottom, we see a special reading for Chol HaMoed. Let's join together. Our God and God of our ancestors, show us your care and concern. Remember our ancestors. Recall your anointed, descended from David, your servant. Protect Jerusalem, your holy city, and exalt all your people, Israel, with life and well-being, contentment and peace on this festival of Sukkot. Grant us life and blessing, and remember us for good. Recall your promise of mercy and redemption. Be merciful to us and save us, for we place our hope in you, loving and merciful God. We turn our thoughts now to our loved ones and friends who are ill, those who are struggling physically or spiritually or emotionally. Tonight in our congregational family, we think especially of Phyllis Burke, Arthur Campbell, Tony Casella, Valerie Frank, Jonathan Gardner, David Glazer, Marilyn Hoffman, Justin Israel, Jay Kelly, Cheryl Leahy, Nancy Mayer, Karen Pelletier, Michael Schreiber, Tal Schechter, Cindy Sherman, Iris Sherman, Yonina bat David HaKohen v'Sarah, Esther bat Chaim v'Goldi. If there's someone for whom you are particularly concerned tonight, someone who is in your prayers, I invite you to say that person's name aloud now.
Chris Brody and Ruvain Ben Malka Mordechai.
We hold in our hearts all of our friends and loved ones who are ill, and we join in our prayer for healing on the inside back cover of the Siddur, Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
We come now to the Yizkor part of our service, the memorial section of our service. We're going to begin on the handouts, but just a quick thought first, and that is that we've spent a lot of time tonight, we've referenced a lot the idea of the Sukkot as fragile, the Sukkah being so shaky and temporary, and some of our readings have made that analogy to our lives, that we too are fragile, impermanent, temporary. And that certainly is reinforced by the idea of Yizkor, but I want to focus for a moment on something else, and that is that that Sukkot is called Zman Simchatenu. It's the time of our rejoicing, the time of our joy. The commanded emotion for Sukkot in the Torah is joy. V'samachta b'chagecha, you shall rejoice on your festival. V'hayita ach sameach, you shall be only joyous. And that may feel a little dissonant when we come to Yizkor. We don't usually think of joy when we come to remembering our loved ones who are no longer with us. And I think that the wisdom of this tradition, the wisdom of this commanded emotion, is to remember with joy, that there is joy in our remembering of the memories that we have of our loved ones, of the lessons that their lives taught us, of the blessings that they passed on to us intentionally or unintentionally, how our lives are better for having known them, for having them been in our lives. There are tears in our remembering them, but there is also joy. There's also gratitude in our appreciation for their lives. And so even at Yizkor, I think it is possible to be joyous. We may sow in tears, but we reap in joy.
Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. It's the song of the dreamer. From a dark place it grows, like a flower in the desert, the oasis of our souls. Come back, where we belong. You who hear our longing cries, our mouths, our lips are filled with song. You can see our tear-filled eyes. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Will reap in joy.
Back in the Sidurim on page 190. When Yizkor is recited, we affirm our love of those so near and dear who have physically left us.
Our love, however, does not rest on physical being. It is deeper than that.
When we love the inner being of the beloved, the quality that makes for uniqueness, the spirit that creates personality and character.
That does not ever disappear. It remains with us as long as we live.
Time eases the pain of loss, but does not erode the affection and emotions we feel for the one who no longer moves about in our midst.
We know that whatsoever lives someday must die. That, however, is true only of the material world. The spiritual can endure forever.
When we lose one who is dear, we mourn, but we must not mourn excessively. We must be grateful for what we have had and find comfort in our memories.
We must continue the task of living, paying tribute to our departed by contributing to the lives of others.
On page 197, let's join together in the 23rd Psalm. Adonai is my shepherd, I shall not want. God gives me repose in green meadows and guides me over calm waters. God will revive my spirit and direct me on the right path, for that is God's way. Though I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no harm, for you are at my side. Your staff and your rod comfort me. You prepare a banquet for me in the presence of my foes. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Surely goodness and kindness shall be my portion all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of Adonai forever. In a moment, we will turn to some private remembrance time on pages 192 to 195, have some private meditations depending on the relationship of the people that we are remembering. But before that, if anybody would like to say aloud the name of someone they are remembering, if you want to say a few words, a sentence or two, a couple sentences about the person you're remembering, I invite you to go ahead and do that. Go ahead, Amy.
Yep.
I may have told you this before, Amy, but the siddur that I use was given by your parents the siddur that I use was given by your parents in honor of Josh.
And the one that I have here is in honor of David, given by my parents.
There you go. It's the right day for it. Gene, go ahead. Rhonda. Rhonda, go ahead. please. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, you.
My uncle Harris just passed away on the 24th. We were closer a long time ago, but we have not talked very much in the past while. And he had cancer, and he's kind of unhappy near the end of his life. So finally, he was also, Haggard.
I did see that.
He made a lot of people happy. So.
I did see that Robbie Coltrane died, so, yes. Mike, yeah. Okay, so let's take a few moments for our private reflections, pages 192 to 195. At the rising of the sun and at its going down, we remember them. At the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. At the openings of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. At the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. At the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. At the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joy we crave to share, we remember them. When we have decisions that are difficult to make, we remember them. When we have achievements that are based on theirs, we remember them. As long as we live, they too will live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. We rise as we turn to page 196 for El Malei Rachamim, the memorial prayer.
El Malei Rachamim Shochein Bamromim Hamtzei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei Hashchina Im Kedoshim Utehorim Kezohar Arakiya Mazhirim Lenishmot Yakireinu Shehalchu Le'olamim Ba'al Arachamim Yastirein B'seiter Kenafav Le'olamim V'yitzror mitzror Chaim Et nishmatam Adonai Hu Nachalatam V'yanuchu b'shalom Al mishkavam V'nomar Amen.
Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure to the souls of all our beloved who have gone to their eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved ones find perfect peace in your tender embrace, their memory enduring as inspiration for commitment to their ideals and integrity in our lives. May their souls thus be bound up in the bond of life. May they rest in peace. Let us say, Amen.
Amen.
We turn back to page 51. Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet gedula le'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
As we prepare for Kaddish, we recall the loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. Tonight, our hearts especially go out to Tracy Paveo and her family. Tracy's uncle, Danny Sorkin, was laid to rest this week. And our congregational family thinks particularly of Lou Berman, husband of Leslie, father of Rachel Colchimiro, father-in-law of Dan, grandfather of Jesse and Zoe, for whom we are still in the first 30 days of mourning. And along with all the others whose names we mentioned tonight and who are in our hearts, we particularly remember with special affection our loved ones whose yahrzeit will occur this coming week. Ida Waxman, mother of Becky Braidman, Merrill P. Wolf, sister of Marcia Hicks, Marion Wall, mother of Marty Wall, Samuel Handel, grandfather of Ruth Albert, Rita Harvey, mother of Merrill Levinson, Norman L. Zimmerman, father of Lisa Rodriguez, Nelson Ross, father of Carolyn Ross. Zichronam livracha. May the memories of all our dear ones be a blessing. In gratitude to God for the gift of the lives of our loved ones, we turn to page 52 and say Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayei uvyomei uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'izman kariv imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei d'kudsha b'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechemata, amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort all of the bereaved. And we say, Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. Rhonda, are you doing it? Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to TCS, where we value innovating education, building community, honoring individuality, drawing meaning from Judaism, and upholding our social responsibility. All of our programming, including the ones I will mention today, reflect these values. Torah study with Rabbi Carr at 9 a.m. in person with coffee and bagels or remote. At 10:30, the bat mitzvah of Haley Charnitsky, daughter of Howard Charnitsky, will celebrate becoming a bat mitzvah. Havdalah service at 7 p.m. on Zoom. Sunday, Sukkot Fall Festival at Wardsbury Farm in Sharon, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for young families, open to everyone. Tell your friends. Simchas Torah service and dance concert with Ezekiel's Wheels Klezmer Band. Ezekiel's Wheels Klezmer Band. From 4:30 to 5:30 is Sulam Simchat Torah Learning. 5:30 p.m. to 6:15 is the community potluck dinner. 6:15 to 7:30 p.m. congregational services with Ezekiel's Wheels, and 7:30 to 8 Ezekiel's Wheels Klezmer concert. Say that one 5 times fast. Next Friday night, Shabbat Nashira with potluck dinner beginning at 6:30 p.m. Complete information and sign up in your weekly email. Rabbi Ken is beginning to plan a TCS Israel trip. To express your interest and to give your input on its timing and focus, please email the rabbi. Drop boxes in the TCS foyer just in time for fall cleaning. The Greater Attleboro Area Council for Children is accepting clothing, shoes, belts, handbags, bedding, towels, and stuffed animals. Dignity Matters is accepting gently worn or new bras. Remember, information and links to all activities are included in your weekly emails on Mondays, as well as special notices. Please remember to return your name badges to the drawers in the foyer before you leave the temple. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Thanks, Rhonda.
We do have one other drop box in the foyer. Amy, you want to?
We're after two kind of confusing pandemic years, we have finally got a full-time family table. Our next delivery will be November 13th, and I'm supposed to bring them 30 cans of soup and 30 cans of tuna. So there's, I'm sure you all know this, there's a wooden box on the foyer that says family table. Every time you go shopping, please grab some tuna and soup and throw it in there, and I'll be making the deposits in Canton now, so it's actually a lot easier for us. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And we appreciate you helping to make it possible for us to do this, Amy. Thank you for doing that soup and tuna for the family table box. Okay, thank you. Introduce it.
We now turn to the handout, the side that says turn, turn, turn.
You turn to the handout.
We'll turn to turn. Because it is the custom on at the end of Sukkot to read the book of Ecclesiastes. And Pete Seeger, to our great benefit, adapted this wonderful passage from Ecclesiastes into a wonderful song so that we could read it and sing it at the same time. So please join me. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time for love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn.
From here, as I mentioned at the beginning of the service, from here we are going to go out to the sukkah for kiddush and motzi, and one other thing, and that is that we will have the chance out in the sukkah to shake the lulav and etrog. One of the mitzvot of the holiday is to take up the 4 species together, so we'll have an opportunity for anybody who has not yet had the chance to do so or to do so today to do that out in the sukkah. So those of you who are on YouTube are welcome to come back to Zoom and to schmooze on Zoom. The rest of y'all, we will reconvene out in the sukkah. Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom.
shalom. That is a newish guitar.